This morning, we're wrapping up our sermon series on Together for Joy. We've been journeying alongside Psalm 98 in order to kind of discover how to be joyful even in the midst of despair. We've talked about how crazy 2020 has been for us, how it's thrown us curveball after curveball, the latest of which is Hurricane Zeta. I never expected when we gathered for worship last Sunday that just a few days later we'd get a direct hit from an almost Category 3 hurricane. I know many of us have roof damage, fences down, yards that are a complete mess. The winds were crazy intense. But in spite of all the crazy, in spite of all the uncertainty and the anxiety of this year, we've seen how our church has managed to come together in new and imaginative ways. This year, it's thrown us for a loop, but this year has also reminded us of our resiliency, of our determination, of our faith. This year's revealed to us those things that really matter. Relationships, health, connection, community, God. As Psalm 98 verse 1 encourages, we've learned how to compose a new song, how to sing to the Lord a new song because of the unbelievable things that God has done for us. We've learned how to sing new songs of online worship, the new song of Zoom and outdoor gatherings, the new song of masks and social distancing, the new songs of caring for our neighbors through thick and thin. Through 2020, though it turned out to be a year unlike anything we could have ever expected, unlike anything we could have ever wanted, we're still here, still called. It does make me wonder, though, what obstacles were faced by those who came before us. Our church has been here for over 175 years. That's a lot of history. And more importantly, that's a lot of people. People who believed in a shared vision of planting a faith community right here in Algiers. People who planted the seeds of that vision, a vision God gave them that probably seemed impossible at the time. To purchase this property, to build a church building, did they imagine it lasting this far? Could they have foreseen the lives that would be touched by this place, the children that would be baptized here, the couples that would be married here, the community that would grow from here? When we look back at our past and how we got here today, we see that our ancestors, too, were called to sing a new song that they'd never sung before. A song that has shifted and changed throughout the years, but one that ultimately brought us here today. In the Gospel of John, we find Jesus teaching his disciples using metaphor and story. He says to them, "The saying may be old, but it's true. One person sows and another reaps. I sent you to the harvest where you've not labored. Someone else took the time to plant and cultivate, and you feast on the fruit of that labor." This metaphor, it rings true for me because we're reaping the harvest that was planted before us by others. And this is blessing in the truest sense of that word. That it's both a gift and a task. The saints of this very church who've gone before us. They've gifted us with this beautiful building, with this rich history, with this prominent location within the Algiers community in the Point, right on Opelousas, where everyone walks and drives by. But these gifts come with a task: to replant the seeds once planted for us, to pave the way for those who will come after us, to leave a legacy that will continue to bear fruit long after we're no longer here. We've lived off the fruit of the harvest that was planted before us. And now we're being asked to plant and to cultivate for future generations. We're being called to sing new songs, songs that very well may serve as the foundation for our future. And this is why all of us, as a community, ask each other to share our treasures and to invest in the mission of this church. Now, more than ever, your generosity can and will make a difference. Now, more than ever, your generosity will determine what seeds we plant for future generations. Now, more than ever, your generosity will determine the legacy that we leave behind, so that the people and the families who come after us, the people and the families that we've yet to meet, will be able to experience the abundant fruits of our harvest. The pledge cards that we turn in today symbolize more than just our financial commitment to the church for next year. They also serve as an act of commitment, as an act of us planting seeds together for the future that God is calling us into. In a time of difficulty and despair for so many, we exist as a community of light and hope. In a time of injustice and struggle, we're a community of love and peace. In a time of silence and isolation, we are and continue to be a community of song, of new songs and new ways of singing, new ways of being God's church for God's world. Together, for joy. Thanks be to God. Amen.